Roger, go for deploy.
All right, guys, welcome back to Adventure Shoot Radio. Today we have a great show for you guys. This is the second show we've recorded with my all-time favourite guest and awesome close mate of mine, Tommy Siera. Unfortunately, episode 4, I think, was Tommy Siera, and we had to take that show down for undisclosed reasons. If you want to know why, then you can DM me on Instagram or Facebook or email me. I can probably fill you in what happened there. But it was my all-time favourite show, and this one would be very close as well. This is Tommy's a skydiver, really a professional skydiver, but he's also a professional life explorer. Like he's done everything, and he's very inquisitive and a fascinating dude to talk to, and like I said, a great mate of mine. You'll love this show, guys. Listen all the way through. It's hilarious. This show is brought to you by Audible. Check out audibletrial.com/ADVF radio, and then you'll get a free audiobook and 30 days free to check out what they do. Audible's sick, guys. You can listen while you're on the bus, listen while you're walking your dog, listen while you're cooking the hamal. You can do a bunch. It's awesome. You're always able to get in information. So check it out. Also, head to quashcreative.com and use the code radio when you speak to the guys there. You'll get a free SEO report or a report on your existing brand. Quash Creative, guys, is a friend of the show, Sean Marsh. He's the guy that did the intro for our show, which we love so much. So awesome with creative exploits of any kind. Also, head to adventurefittravel.com. We got epic trips coming up all the time, guys. You can get 10% off if you use the code word radio. Check out what we're doing. We got Iceland coming up in December. The first one sold out. Don't miss out on the second one. It's going to be rad. And here's the show. If we're on, then we're back.
Then we're on.
Welcome back to Adventure Shoot Radio. We're sitting here with Tommy Siera. You haven't got a song prepared either, do you?
No.
Thank God.
Yeah. It was,
Cooked me on the last one. I'm surprised you don't remember the last one.
Oh, no,
I do.
I could. Let me just go back to my files. I could get back in there.
We had to scrap.
Siera, he looks like Owen Wilson.
That was the gist of it, pretty much.
Yeah.
We did have to scrap the first show, so we don't actually. We could do the tribute again.
A cappella?
Can you do it, or you don't want to do it?
Yeah, I've got it here. Hang on. Let me
How
just go
are you,
back
Tommy?
to my
Anyway,
files.
I'm good.
What's been happening?
Today or like recently or?
Well, since
Last 3 hours.
since we spoke to you last, which nobody can go back into the files and find because, as we said, the show was deleted for
Hashtag legality issues. Hashtag legality issues.
Yeah, heaps, man. Heaps. Just been getting active, doing stuff. I broke my leg in a car accident. I came second at the National Skydiving Championship. Scaling back on work a lot, just trying to enjoy things more and tone it down a little bit, I guess.
Sounds
Apart
good.
from that, just chilling and doing my thing.
Yep.
So how's the skydiving competition work? Like it's aerial maneuver skydiving stuff?
Yeah, we were competing in 2A artistic. So I was competing with 2 Irish brothers that are guys from Queensland that I've been jumping with for a few years. They're really good jumpers. And I'm their cameraman, so I fly with the camera on my head. So
Sick.
we have we have 7 rounds. 2 rounds are free routine. So they're basically routines that we can pick moves based on a guideline set of moves that give you better points. Mm-hmm. So we try and do the best moves that we can and film them in an artistic way to make it look super cool. And then you have compulsories, which are moves that they've picked for us to do. And we have to do them in the sequence that they want and film them in our own creative way and make it look as cool as we can.
Really?
So it's super fun, super hard. It's very subjective though, the judging. So
yeah, because it's artistic.
It's hard. So, and like the guys that are judging us, like some of them have never skydived before. They're great judges and stuff like that. But it's like, you spend a whole year working super hard on your craft, like everything goes into it. Like for me, like your diet, your training in the gym, you're working to pay for the training jumps and things like that. And then it comes down to comp day. And, if you're not that happy with the overall way it goes, you can get a little upset. But I guess you've kind of just got to put that to the back of your mind and just try and do your best and fly the best you can with your friends and have fun, which is what we did.
Yeah.
We came close. We came second. There was only 2 teams in the competition, but we did really good.
You did really well.
But we did really good. We were super proud. The team we were competing against, the guys we were competing against have been a team for I think 4 or 5 years, really good flyers, and we were only like 0.4 of a point behind them.
Yeah.
So we were really stoked.
Yeah.
And it was like the jumps we did in competition on that day were the best jumps we'd done as a team. So like we were so pumped afterwards. It was well worth the year-long slog of everything that comes with it. So
So you're so who does all the editing and stuff? Like because you've got is that a part of the competition as well? Like how's it work?
No. We just
They watch it live?
Yeah, no, we do the jump. We submit the video straight to the judges. They go into the judging panel and they'll watch it, I think, once or twice, and then they'll judge they'll give their scores on the spot, and then they'll put it out on the big screen and say, our score and go through the routine. So
right, so that's why like you've got to be in the right position. So you're as much of a pretty much like crucial member as anyone because you got to get yourself in the right position to be able to make it look rad.
I've got the hardest part.
Really?
Yeah, it's the hardest flying because you've got to be there, you've got to capture it, you've got to see things. Like I have to see things going pear-shaped before they get pear-shaped. If I can see something's out of time, I have to adjust where I am in the sky to get everything in frame or to change it and things like that.
Sounds fucking
it's
crazy.
So much fun.
Yeah.
I love filming and photography and stuff like that anyway. Yeah. So it's like...
It's the best thing.
Yeah, it was
That
super
shit's
cool
the
for
best.
me.
Yeah.
And I'd been saying that I'd wanted to get into flying camera for years. And the way I fell into it with these boys was just textbook, just right place, right time, good friends. It just happened. And now since that...
Funny farm.
Yeah, funny farm. Since...
That's funny.
That is funny.
It's quite funny.
Since flying camera for the team, I'm now sort of focusing more on creative edit. So going to an event and flying camera for the event and then coming home and putting the jumps that I've done to music that I like in a creative way. And it just ticks so many boxes for me. Like, it's so good to put... I love music, so it's so much fun to put the music I love to the images I love of the sport I love. It's like, man, I have the best time when I'm editing. I'm just like, this is so cool.
That's sick. So can you sell those edits? Like, can you make some money out of doing that? Like selling edits to like
not really
competitions or companies and stuff. Like, surely Red Bull would
they
do, but they've got so much content, man. They've got hours. They've got the best guys in the world working for them, and they've been doing that sort of thing for 10 years now. So they're probably sitting on mountains of footage, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
But like,
sick though.
There are skydiving events called boogies. And we can, if you're a good camera flyer, you get employed to go to these events, like whether it's in Australia or Norway or Switzerland or wherever, and you fly camera for an event, so they pay for you to go over there. You fly camera for the week, you jump with everyone, and then you do a creative edit.
That's sick.
Fuck yeah, that's good.
And that can be, there's people that do that pretty much full time.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
That's
the dream.
Yeah,
that's
European summer to Australian summer or US summer or whatever, you know, so... It's pretty cool. I'm not that good yet, but I'm working on it.
Yeah. And you're back in the gym, mate?
Yeah. Crossfitting, yeah. Training heaps, man. I did, since breaking my leg, I got when I broke my leg, I was still a chance of going to the world meet. Like my team was going to the world meet and there was a chance that I was going to heal before it. So like, I got stuck into rehab. I actually went insane and got totally obsessed with my rehabilitation.
Yeah.
And then once I realized that I wasn't going to make it, I was still kept up with everything and still went hammer and tong. My leg, I had a straight tibia break. It was end to end. So I had no plates or anything or no screws. It actually just healed, but it took a long time. And the mobility in my ankle was really bad. And I just worked on that, worked on my diet, did everything I could to come back from that. And I don't even notice it anymore. It's stronger than it's ever been.
So when you say world meet, do you mean for CrossFit?
No, for skydiving.
Shit, man. I was like, fuck, you're on it.
Yeah.
You're killing it.
No way. No way.
Absolutely killing it.
Dude, no way.
Yeah,
I weigh
I'm now a
60
regionals
kilos.
athlete. Yeah. It's like, holy shit. This guy's rocking it. I just found the tribute here. It's unreal. This is classic.
Fantastic.
That was question of the day, Tommy.
Yeah. That was, you got to the CrossFit Games.
Yeah, that's funny.
He just like got
Yeah.
CrossFit on his
I
mind.
definitely don't think I could.
Yeah. CrossFit frothing.
Yeah, sick. So how did you break your leg?
In a car accident.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think you were.
Of all things.
I think you were. Was that at Funny Farm?
No.
I should just stop
Yeah,
talking
stop
about Funny
bringing it
Farm.
in,
Actually,
Yeah.
they had bad stuff at Funny Farm.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, sweet.
No, it was just a car accident. We were just caught out on a farm, and it was dark and.
On a farm. You can't.
No, but it was no. We're out
Farm,
at
not called
Funny
Funny Farm.
Farm is just a joke that we use once.
Yeah, I know.
It was just a joke.
No, we're out at a mate's farm down in Gippsland, and we were just like messing around, and we had a bit of a car accident. And I broke my leg, which sucked.
Boys being boys.
Yeah,
Oh,
classic.
Let's go flip a car. We're on trucks.
Classic story, boys being boys. So,
Yeah.
I came off with a broken leg, and it
Fuck.
sucked.
That's the way to do it, yeah.
And I was petrified of cars before that anyway. You know, like I hate cars. I've always driven a piece of shit. I didn't get my license till I was like, I think 20 because I was scared of cars. I just didn't really want to drive. My sister's boyfriend or dude she was seeing when she was younger, he died in a car accident when I was about 16.
Was that the Peninsula accident?
Yeah, it was
The big one
one of the Mornington Peninsula accidents. There was a few in a couple of years.
Oh,
there
not
was
the
like
one that was
three.
the David Hill Peninsula, the group of guys that.
No, it wasn't those guys.
Yep.
It was some other dudes. Yeah, but
Yeah, that's shit, isn't it?
yeah.
And now you're looking at living in a car though.
Yeah, well, I'm
Getting the
not
van-
living in a van, but
getting the van life rocking.
yeah, going to set the van up for summer. It's just a lot easier. It's going to make things so much easier. I can have all the toys in there. I can have a solar panel battery system. I can have a fridge in there. I can have my laptop,
that's sick.
lights, and I can just do whatever I want, whenever I want, and just be gone. Like I can just take off from Friday till Monday, or if I take days off in the week, I can just disappear and stay wherever I like. So
We were talking about this before the show when you were out there, Tommy, doing whatever you were doing.
I was just eating cookies.
yeah,
Cookies.
yeah, it looked delicious.
Yeah, because I sold my car the other day, and I didn't tell you I applied for a Wicked Camper. You can buy a Wicked Camper van. You go on their website, and it's like buy an old camper. You put your details down and whatever. Because I want to get a camper set up to go up the East Coast with Ziggy.
Yeah.
And Siera was telling me how
Just you
he's
two?
kind of...
Yeah.
Yeah, well, who
Sounds
else am I
cute.
going to take, mate?
Depending on what you're thinking about doing, it's quite illegal.
Yeah. I have to employ. I can employ a girlfriend if that's what you're assuming. Like I don't have one, so it just means
Ziggy's a
Ziggy,
dog,
mate,
by
that's
the
all
way,
right.
guys.
But so that's why I was talking to Tommy about talking about the van life.
Yeah, V-Life.
I think it's a great move, man. I'm definitely all for it for you, for
Yeah,
sure.
no, I just want to. I want to see more of Australia for one.
Yeah.
Like,
More
I
of
wanna-
Victoria. How much do you know of Victoria?
Exactly.
None, mate.
Dude, this
Exactly.
place is legit rad.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's so good.
Well,
You
I'm
know
going
what,
to Marysville tomorrow with the old miso soup, and
Nice.
I'm fucking pumped about seeing it because I saw it once as like a kid.
Yeah.
But it'd just be good to see it as like a slightly more mature version of myself and actually like suss out like a forest town.
It's beautiful.
yeah.
I was out there maybe 2 months ago. I did like a 6-hour hike with my girlfriend,
Yeah.
and it was amazing.
The best thing.
It's so cool out there, man. It's
Yeah, I really wanna
absolutely
do that.
beautiful. And it's not far at all. Like,
Nah.
it was an hour and a bit out, maybe an hour and a half. And the whole drive out there is beautiful. You sort of go out the Black Spur, out the side of the Dandenongs. What's the valley out there that sort of opens up? It's not...
Champagne Valley.
Is it?
Definitely not Champagne Valley.
Rift Valley.
Rift Valley?
Is it?
Oh no, it's Back to the Future.
Is it
Silicon. Yeah, definitely silicon.
Yeah, because I had
Let's
this
go.
dude stay with me on Airbnb.
Here we go.
Is this Dutch dude?
Okay.
And then
Dutch runner.
Anyway, Dutch runner. Anyway, so he was he came to me and he was like, I can't remember what his name was. He was a fucking real nice guy, and I was friends with him.
Yep.
But he was a real knucklehead as well. Like he really was. He was
Yeah.
he's a mate that you kind of like. you
Bone
got
once and
you got all the time for, but you got no time for.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So he's a me.
but,
Every group has a dickhead, but it's their group's dickhead.
But he came in Airbnb and he's like, "Oh, Billy, I need you to I want you to tell me where I should go in Victoria. Like, I want to do some hikes. I want to do this and that." And I felt embarrassed. I own a travel company, and I was like, "Man,
I now see it. Yeah.
My advice.
That is hilarious.
My advice is go get a Lonely Planet. There's a bookstore.
Yeah.
I can point you in the direction of the best bookstore in South Melbourne.
In fact, to be honest, I can't. I'll just go.
But he
to
was like, so he went to the he went in like 3 weekends in a row. Went the Yu Yangs, the Dandenongs, Werribee Gorge, maybe, or something like that. There's another one that I'm forgetting about. And he just came back. He was raving, showing me photos. I'm like, fuck, all this stuff's like an hour away.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
not
And
far
I
at
know. We
all.
have to do. Oh man,
Yeah,
100%.
it's
That's
not
why I just
far
want to
at
get
Oh,
out
all.
more. Like,
And I keep-
stay overnight on a tree.
I keep seeing all these chicks that I
we
creep
go.
on Instagram stories, like all out at Werribee Gorge. Werribee Gorge
yeah.
seems to be.
Is that what you call it? Werribee Gorge.
But,
Sorry.
So
Oh, it's those cookies, man. I'm on a sugar high.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're on fire.
But I just feel like I haven't seen enough of Australia. So that was my plan.
Yeah.
Get in the car and make my way slowly up the east coast, and then wherever else.
Yeah.
I want to go to Cairns. I want to go up to Cairns and do some diving.
Yeah.
Scuba diving?
Before the coral's bleached and disappears.
Yeah.
Coral's cooked.
Gone forever.
Coral's
Yeah.
already cooked.
It's already cooked, isn't it?
But so van life.
V-Life.
That's cool.
But,
it's super good for you, just
Well,
the whole
yeah.
concept of getting out in nature and stuff. Did you read that article I sent you about Japanese bathing?
I don't remember you sending it.
I think I
Damn
texted it to you. It's
man.
Japanese forest bathing where like people that work in the cities there, the companies own like resorts or cabins out in the forest, and they periodically send staff out there to spend the weekend because they come back and their stress levels are down.
Yeah.
They're more
Efficiency's through the roof.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like productivity goes through the roof and everything, and it's like.
Mate, 100%. But then
Yeah.
they've got the other side of Japanese culture where it's like they're so fucking stressed they have that suicide forest. How's that?
What is that?
Do you know that suicide
Suicide
forest?
No.
Mate,
It's
we
next
just
to the-
changed.
it's
We
next
just
to the Japanese
We've
border.
just gone, wow.
Yeah, we've gone
It got
down here
really
now.
dark.
Yeah,
It just got super dark in here.
Silicon
about
Valley.
it,
Okay, so I mean, I watched the Vice documentary,
Right, okay.
and so I know everything about it. But basically, there is legitimately a forest in Japan. I can't remember what it's called. It's like
Death Forest.
Yeah, Death Forest. Yeah, Osaku or something like that. Basically translates to Death Forest. And it's probably a little bit politically correct there. But it's where people literally go to commit suicide, and there's like over 1,000. I mean, you go in there and there are dead bodies because people have hung themselves. And when they filmed the documentary, they found this guy who was just chilling out in his tent, contemplating whether or not to do it. Like he was contemplating his own life.
Oh
like
my
it's
God,
so fucked.
that is grim.
But I mean, what kind of like culture? I mean, like. The Japanese culture. I'm not having a crack at Japanese culture. Fucking no. But like they're so far advanced. They're killing every aspect of technology advances and all this sort of stuff. They've monetized and made into a business sex and relationships, and yet it's driving everyone to be so stressed.
Yeah.
that they're having to some people are committing suicide. It's insane, isn't
That's
it?
horrible. That is,
Maybe it's just a joint that people go to, like the Westgate.
Well,
maybe they're not all
mate.
just committing suicide. They're not all going
Because
down
it's
the
correlated
forest to commit.
to the culture. Yeah,
Well, maybe,
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, people don't go to the Westgate anymore, do they?
I don't know.
don't
I'm
think
just saying,
you
it
can.
might just be
I don't
like the
think you
most
can.
convenient place to just
Convenient.
go
It's
down
got
to
and
either kill yourself or meet someone.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Hey man, what are you doing? Oh,
just
down the dumps, bro.
Want to be
You wanna
mates?
Chat about it?
I'm going to the forest.
Imagine if you married someone you met. Yeah. Where'd you guys meet? Oh, nowhere. That's the one time you would say.
We're on our way to Happy Life Forest, down to have a work retreat.
That's the one time you'd probably say Tinder. Oh yeah, we met on Tinder. That's all good.
Oh, we were sharing the same nose. No, sorry.
That's so fucked.
Yeah, do you want a hand with that? Like I see that Slipknot's not going to work.
It was love at first sight.
It's the first time.
Is this your first attempt? Mine too.
Yeah, but
Oh,
that's an
shit.
insane. That is a very, on a serious note, really good documentary to watch. Because,
Yeah.
there's a guy who was self-employed to go into the forest all the time and help people out. He was like his own self-made counselor
That's
to
cool.
help people out and be like, hey man, you don't need to do this. Like the people that die in there was a dead body in there with the clothes still over the dead body. So the body would rot and the clothes were still shaped around the skeleton. Like,
Wow,
it was
that's
just
how long it had been there
fucked.
for.
Like ages. He found a body that had been there for what? I mean, how long does that take you? A couple of years?
Well,
I
I mean,
would have a clue.
decomposition probably, but I mean,
Yeah.
that thing's probably been packed by every animal out there for
It
sure.
looked pretty grim after like a week or two.
Oh,
Yeah,
it
I mean,
would
it
be looking
depends if
good.
they could get to it or
Extremely
not.
grim.
You know, like
Yeah.
birds would have just been
they hacked
savages
at it.
on that.
What
Yeah.
about that dude? I think I told you about this dude. His job is this guy named Kevin Briggs. Try to get him on the podcast. I think when we go to the US, I think he agreed to come on the show for a
I
sesh.
get some good guess.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
dude. I haven't even
It's
told
really
about
good.
this guest. Cyril likes the name
He's
Kevin
killing it.
Briggs.
Yeah.
He likes the name Kevin Briggs. You don't know anything else about him.
No,
mate.
no.
This is a good
Look how
name.
excited he is. Though. But
Fuck, I like this guy.
So this Kevin Briggs guy though, he's from San Francisco, and his job, he's a counselor, right? And his job is he works at the southwest entrance to the Golden Gate Bridge, for example. One of the entrances.
Yep.
And his job, day to day, is he's a bridge attendant, but he's a fucking counselor.
Oh,
'cause
this
he's,
dude.
Yeah.
Yes.
His whole job, his whole day to day is walking up on the bridge, and there's other roles that he has,
Yep.
but his main role is walking up and going, "Hey,
Chill
what are
out.
you up to? Like, can we chat about this? Like, tell me what's going on."
Yeah.
And trying to talk people out of
It's a risky fucking
like
job.
when do you ever have that job?
Well,
You don't.
it just
Like
reminded me of
Death
the
Forest, but-
hostage. It reminded me of the hostage negotiator, Chris
Hostage
Voss.
negotiator, yeah, not
Because
bad.
it's
but
like, imagine you say people are that wound up.
Yeah.
You say one wrong word or emphasize one wrong part of the sentence. See you later.
Yeah.
They're jumping. So it's like, man, you don't have to do this. You're not a bad person, but you're not a great person.
Yeah,
like,
gone.
just gone.
Yeah.
He did a really sick TED talk. That's how I got onto this dude. And he talked about one example of this guy, and he explained about his day and explained about his family, and he was just having a real rough time, and he thought he was making ground. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of the conversation, he just looked at him and said something like, "Anyway, man, I'm out." And he watched him. He was like, "What the fuck?"
It would
That's
fuck
terrible.
with your head.
Heavy, right? Heavy. So anyway, we're going to try and get this guy on the show. I'd like to talk to him about.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's a very
You
fascinating.
would learn some
fascinating-
things. I reckon
Yeah.
just doing that, you'd be like, you'd learn about people, you know. But surely it's sort of ethically. Well, you'd just be thinking, you can't put your own guilt, or I mean, you're not the person to blame. Like they're on
No,
a bridge, they're on the
definitely
bridge.
not.
It's
He
just
would know
like
that by
it wasn't
that
just
point.
because of
Yeah,
what I
he'd be
said.
not.
It's like if he was going to kill himself, he was going to kill himself.
Yeah,
It's like
before
being in
they even met. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It's like being in an emergency room. Fucking,
Yeah, that's right.
You know, like people don't.
If people are going to die,
People
they're
make
gonna
a
die.
mistake in there, or someone dies and they, could have done that. Like those people don't. You can't have that role and
Yep.
and excel in that role if you worry about that
Nah,
stuff. You have to be
exactly.
And I
it's business. It's business.
I spoke to someone the other day about. I was a paramedic, I think, and yeah, I can't remember who it was, but it was a paramedic, and I was talking about how crazy I think their job is. Like, obviously, rocking up to like car accidents and these horrific fucking things and trying to resuscitate people. And I'm like, I could never do it. And it was a girl, I can't remember who it was. She goes, "You could definitely do it. I could never do it when I started doing it."
Yeah.
Like, it was the craziest thing that I'd ever see. For the first time I saw somebody die in front of me, the second time it still hurt, and the third time, and then it becomes like anything, you become attuned to it, as fucked as it sounds. But
Yeah.
otherwise you're out the door.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
You
can't-
wouldn't last a week.
Nah.
You'd know straight away. You'd see one bit
Yeah.
of blood and squeal and
Oh,
be
you hate
gone.
it. Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. Yeah, it's insane.
Heavy stuff. You were telling me, you were saying when we were talking before the, sorry about that, before we started recording, you were telling me you've had you've been getting into some hallucinogenic
Drugs?
Some
What were you looking for a word there?
No, I was trying to make it sound fancier.
A little less.
Experiences
Yeah.
or something.
Well, food is a drug, if you want to give it that sort of context.
yeah, I've been sort of getting back into psychedelics a little bit. I mean, I used to dabble a bit when I was younger, but I don't think I understood what they were about at all. I just did it
Yeah.
because you were young and just like,
you
I'm
wanted
doing
to
this and I'm
trip out.
seeing shit. This
Yeah.
is weird. I have no idea what's going on. But
I thought it was a capriciosa pizza.
yeah, this is what you do. But after doing research and
Yeah.
reading lots of books and sort of
Totally.
figuring out that there's a lot more to it
Yep.
than just what you think or what you're told or what you learn in school. And yeah, I've been experimenting, microdosing with mushrooms and stuff like that, and it's been fantastic. It's been one of the better things I've done recently, for sure.
So that just quickly, that was the biggest thing that I was disappointed about with us having to take down our last show was the fact that we got into this amazing conversation about psychedelics and breaking
Yeah.
through and becoming one with yourself and all that you know,
Yeah.
beautiful stuff. Like,
That was a great conversation with Mark. That was super cool. I still think about that.
Mac.
Mac.
Yeah.
It was funny. It was funny
super good.
when it was funny during that after that conversation. Like a week later, one of my friends, she wrote to me, a chick up in Sydney, and she was like, "Oh my God, I just listened to the show you did with Tommy Siera. It's so good.
He's
me
so
and,
hot.
Me and the girls are all going to buy DMT. With this. I'm like, I don't know if I don't know if
Were we advocated for that?
Yeah,
Well,
definitely.
Yeah, and she literally got all her mates and they went out and fucking bought DMT and had a DMT experience. But
Are they better people for it?
Probably.
yeah, I don't
They're all
know.
dead. They've all gone to the forest.
Yeah.
But microdosing. I remember reading an article about microdosing from like Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's like Silicon Valley's newest trend.
It's massive. Yeah, it has been for years, you know, like did you read Elon Musk's book?
I'm reading it now.
Yeah, I
a good
mean, he
book.
came up with the ideas for Solar City and Tesla out at Burning Man, which is like,
I haven't got to that part.
yeah, it's super cool, you know, and
Really?
that's a festival sort of based on psychedelics.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know?
yeah,
Steve
100%.
Jobs was huge on it. You
Yeah.
know,
Frothing on shrooms,
Graham
isn't he?
Hancock, massive advocate for it.
The dude who discovered the double helix, Francis Crick.
Yep.
He was on LSD when he discovered the DNA double helix.
Yep.
Actually, I did hear that
Yeah.
recently somewhere.
Yep.
See, what does
But-
that tell you?
So what is
I mean,
what does
there are only a few
microdosing-
examples, but yeah.
Like, what do you? Because I remember reading an article about it in Silicon Valley, and it was like for like high functioning CEOs, and they were taking, obviously, like you say, microdosing. So it was before hallucinogenic stages, but it increased
Yeah.
their creativity. And like if they were at a roadblock with a designer or whatever entrepreneurial fucking thing, then they would microdose on LSD or whatever, and it would open up their
definitely.
or mushrooms. What have you been doing?
Just trying to sort of relax a lot. Like I have ADHD. I got diagnosed sometime last year, but it was like when I finally went and saw someone about it, the issues that the things I suffer from were like becoming an issue in my life.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yep.
it was just getting worse and worse. And everyone knew it. I knew it. And everyone's like, oh, I could have told you that 20 years ago. And I was like,
say that.
and I was
Yeah,
like,
do
yeah,
that,
no shit.
Yeah.
I knew that too.
We
but-
knew you weren't numb when you started boning that dog. Hey guys, is this normal? Man, the sugar in these cookies is ridiculous. Like I
Have you been microdosing on that?
yeah.
Microdosing
Even
on chocolate
macrodosing.
cookies.
Yeah. Oh god, I've just injected cookies. What the fuck?
Yeah, but like, isn't ADHD? I just think of it as like a thing that kids have, and then they.
I agree with this.
And then once they grow up, they just become like outgoing humans.
Well, they stop
But
eating Fruit Loops
Yeah,
every
but
fucking
no,
morning.
like
what do
this-
you have that fucks you over
just
being ADHD?
focus. Like
yeah.
my memory is absolutely terrible. My focus, my attention to detail on anything, my levels of commitment, like starting something and starting too many things and then just forgetting about something else.
Yeah.
Classic.
Which was,
Sound like a bloke.
yeah,
Sound like a dude.
but you know, like really, really bad. Like
yeah,
it
like
was,
just shit making a negative
Yeah.
a negative impact on your life.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
big
right.
time.
Yeah.
And then to talk to someone and get medicated was really good. Like, and I am medicated
right.
now, which is awesome for it.
Wow.
But what do you do? What do you do? What
I
type
take
of-
dexamphetamine, which helps
yeah.
my focus and everything.
Really?
Helps my memory. But I've actually, since getting medicated, I've sort of started researching alternate ways to sort of kill myself, which I've been doing. I've changed my diet. I meditate twice a day.
Sick.
I'm
Awesome,
actually
man.
started
Awesome.
a speed reading and memory mnemonics course online,
really?
which I'm only 2 weeks into, and that has changed everything.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, it's amazing. I can't recommend it enough.
Fuck.
It's so good.
Man, just
Things I'm learning through. That is so
please
cool.
send that to
I will.
because I've wanted to be able to read faster. I want to
Yeah.
go through
Yeah,
it.
same.
And my
Dude.
memory's always cooked, and I've
Oh,
always
dude.
wanted to. I've always wanted to be
comprehension,
able to,
like reading like a page and
Yeah.
just going. I just thought about what I'm eating for dinner. That whole page,
Yeah.
you know, like,
Yeah.
and you can
What is
hear
that?
you can hear the words in your head.
Yeah.
You're reading it,
Yeah.
but you are just thinking about something else.
Yeah,
You're
you're
in
off in
another world,
fairyland.
and it stops that. Like,
Really?
it's super interesting. The thing is, like, I'm sort of getting a little older and trying to use my time more wisely, and I love to read, but I realize like my comprehension sucks and I'm slower at reading than I thought. And I was like, there's all these topics I want to research and things I want to
Yeah.
get into.
Same.
But I suck at learning. So I was
Yeah.
like, I got to start from the start. You know, like I've
Yeah.
got all these books sitting at home ready to read, but I was
Yeah.
like, I started reading a few of them and then went, man, I don't even know what I'm reading, you know? So I was like, I've taken it back to learning how to speed read and learning to comprehend everything. I did a
that's it.
diagnostic test the first week and I was reading 130 40 words per minute.
Yep.
Which I thought was kind of okay, but
Grade
turns
1 level.
out is shit, yeah. And comprehension was like 43%.
Wow.
So
Right, so the amount of information that you take. Did you say you read a chapter or a page?
no, it gives you a paragraph, and then you do some maths and
you
figure it out. You have a
answer
test as well to
answer
figure
the
out
questions
the
of
scores.
what you just read.
Yeah,
And then
I can
what
send
about?
it to you. It's super cool.
What about? And then what about? Have you done another diagnostic?
No,
since
not
we've
yet.
done-
So I'm learning all the techniques now. I've learned about chunking and starting to learn all these mnemonic techniques for memory and stuff
what's
like that.
chunking?
It's like a way of looking at information instead of like looking at numbers. Like, you know how your bank card is in chunks?
Yep.
The way the mind works is to retain more information or to remember it into your short-term memory. It puts it into chunks automatically. That's why your cards and your phone numbers have chunks.
Right.
So they do it for you.
So there's my
So
for
it's
my
learning-
phone number. There's my 0404 chunk.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
because if I look at my phone number's 0404 485 969.
Yeah, it's how everyone does it.
Yeah, and if I look at my phone number 0404
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you can't do it.
0444
Yeah, exactly.
859695. I'm
Yeah.
like, what the fuck is that? You know, I
Yeah, it
can't even
sounds like
say it.
someone else's number.
Yeah.
That's exactly it, man.
Oh, that's fascinating.
It's
Yeah.
super cool. And the things I've watched and like the things I'm learning now is I'm not into the hardcore tricks of it at the moment, but I'm learning about other people that it's helped.
Yes.
Like there's a kid, I can't remember where he's from, but he's like 18 and he knows 20 languages, you know? And it's like, it's all about
Fuck
learning.
that kid.
It's all
hate
about
it.
learning how to learn, and it's all about
Crazy.
looking at learning in a different perspective.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
like, I've started sort of watching all these dudes on YouTube and everything, and all the memory champs of the world like started off with learning disorders. The guy that wrote the course I'm doing had ADD.
Really?
Like the best memory champ, I think or one of the guys, his name's Jim Quick. He had a brain injury when he's a kid.
I'm for this reason. I'm on his mailing list. I get his emails.
Oh,
Jim
really?
Quick.
Yeah,
'cause
he's
He
awesome.
had a memory thing, and I
He's
was
got
like,
a
"Fuck, sign me
podcast.
up
Get
for
his
that."
little podcast.
Yeah, right.
It's only like
Wow.
20 minutes,
Sick.
and they're rad.
Really?
Heaps of cool tricks, you know. And it's tricks that like you can put like. So the things I've learned already is like how to remember everyone's name. So like
Yeah.
now I
cheat.
am terrible.
Yeah.
Now it's like I met two dudes earlier skydiving, and I know their names and faces because I know how to now picture
Wow.
picture their face to their name.
Oh,
It's
really?
all visual stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is visual. Now, like,
That's how I remember people's names.
oh wow. See,
write-
lists are good.
Yeah,
lists
I
are
write
great.
them,
Yeah.
I write them down, and then I give them like a blurb.
Yeah.
You know, like John, American from Sydney.
Yeah.
Renee, Pam lookalike.
Yeah.
Like, and these things.
Yeah,
and once I look at it once or twice, and I'll say the name again, and then I won't have to refer to this.
Yeah.
But like maybe.
What is it for all the listeners at home?
Yeah, sorry, fuck. It's a list of people. I write down people's names and something about them when I meet them.
Yeah.
Because I just think
What app are you using there?
that's just notes on my
Have
phone.
you ever? Do you know what Evernote is?
Yeah,
Evernote's good.
I just don't use it. I probably could use it for a bunch of
it's a
different
good
stuff.
one.
But
I've only just got into it recently. It's good.
But all of the best learners in the world and smartest people in the world, like the what's that word I'm looking for? Those really smart dudes.
Geniuses.
The Saiyans or something, or
the
the Vayans.
I know the word
Yeah.
you're looking
Don't know.
for.
I'm hi, my name is and I'm a Saiyan. It's like Super Saiyan or something fucking weird. Like I'm
Yeah, it's
no idea what
it's,
you're trying to
I
say,
know the
dude.
word you're thinking
Savant.
of. Savant.
Oh, savant.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Hey man, I'm a Super Saiyan.
Shit, I'm a savant.
classic.
Yeah.
No, savant.
Not even
All of the
close.
savants say that they. Yeah, I know, I fucked it. But they all remember things with like colours and swirls and lines and things.
Smell. I was listening to a podcast and there was a dude that was in a memory competition, and he said he went into the competition really hungry.
What's 5 plus?
No,
5 plus 5.
listen to this. He said he went into the.
Smells like 10.
One fact.
No, he said.
Oh yes.
So this dude was in a competition and he went in hungry, and he said that he got distracted during a competition because the numbers smelt too tasty, and they distracted him. And it's like that's something I've just
my God,
broken
fish
into. Man, I was watching a lecture last night, and that was one of the things it said. Like they've started talking about visual aspects to learning, and it's like now they're starting to talk about smell, and I'm like. That's weird. So if I try and remember Bill Kerr's name, I'm probably going to think of a real smelly fart that he once did.
right,
It's
yeah.
like,
But you
all right,
guys,
Bill smells like shit.
But I'm sure you've had that where, like, I mean, you'll smell something and it will take you back to some memory that you can't
definitely.
remember. Or
Yeah.
something that you'd be like,
No,
oh,
for sure.
what the fuck?
Takes you back
Yeah.
to a point in time in your life where
Yeah.
you're just like, oh my God, I'm 14 again, and that
Yeah.
smell.
Yeah, you definitely get
and
that,
you
for
remember
sure.
like the sounds, like well, for me,
Yeah.
like I remember what music I was listening to, like whether I was into skating or snowboarding. I
Yeah.
remember everything about it from that smell.
Yes, and the
Super
smell must
weird.
have been like so significant because everything I look at or understand from the world, I believe it's like we've evolved this way through evolution, obviously.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a reason why our brain is like, remember this smell. It must have been some significant moment back in our lives that it's held onto, thinking that it's going to help us survive.
Oh, for sure. Like,
know?
say when a plant was coming into bloom in the jungle, you know, like you'd know what time of the year it is when you get that scent, what's flowering. You probably know what's eating it. You probably know whether it's poisonous or not.
Yeah.
You know, like
all these things to keep us alive.
Yeah,
just
for
keep us
sure.
alive. Yeah. But I wanted to hit back on what Bill sort of probed with before, which was the dabbling with the mushrooms and stuff. Like when we spoke last time, I was really, really eager to pick your brain because I still had a bit of that anxiety with my mushrooms experience. And let me tell you, that's all gone now. And I recently did edible.
You've been doing lots of mushrooms?
Just been hammering heroin. Like, just in a good way, though.
Man, can I be honest? Like, I was so close to microdosing before coming here.
Yeah,
I was like,
we should do it.
We
should definitely do a drug podcast.
We can definitely do that. I mean, I got a freezer full of the fuckers. So.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting to that, to be honest with you.
It's awesome, yeah.
But,
can I clarify, though, like with the microdosing, people think taking mushrooms, it's like you're going to sit in the corner and shake and scream and see shit. It's not like that at all. You don't even get like that. You just feel happy and you feel warm and fuzzy and your body relaxes and your brain relaxes and your nerve endings tickle and all the senses in your body are alive a little bit, but it's not to the point where you're like, I have to be alone. You're totally normal. You're just like, I'm just a little bit
I'm just having a great day.
Yeah, just having a really good
So you
time.
just had a couple of beers.
Yeah.
What about
but without the hangover?
Yeah.
What about like for people? Because most of the people that listen to this podcast are probably going to think that sounds pretty whack. What you just said, like pretty crazy, pretty out there.
Yeah.
You know? What are the like? I don't even know with
What are the benefits?
What are the negative aspects like? Because with mushrooms, what are the negative aspects with
Well,
mushrooms?
poison.
I'd say, psilocybin, I mean, if you take too much of anything, it's a poison.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like
of
if you
course.
drink too much water, it'll kill you.
Yeah.
So what was your question again?
What are the negative aspects? If you're only microdosing, is it just super safe or like is it pretty...
definitely. You've got to experiment. You can't just go buy mushrooms or go pick them and just eat a handful and go, was that a microdose? Like you have to start from the start, get some scales and weigh it up and go, all right, I just had 0.1 of a gram, that didn't do much. Okay, 0.2, 0.3 or whatever, and figure out your perfect dose for yourself to be able to go, all right, I had that much and I could do all of this, and okay, let's go 2 steps forward and go, okay, now I know my limits on that.
Tripping a little bit too much.
Yeah,
to do
exactly.
This.
Yeah, totally.
Cooked now.
You know your way through it, but I would definitely say, like, if you've got a history of mental illness, like mental issues, like in your family or in your past, maybe don't do it on like if you've been born with those. But if it's like depression and things like that, man, anxiety. Anxiety. I would say go for it for sure. Like they're treating people with depression, like they're treating them with mushrooms now.
Yeah,
so,
PTSD.
PTSD is huge for it, and that's pretty much why I've been microdosing. It's been like a little bit of not depression, but it's just been like a medicinal purpose for me. Like
for sure.
I find myself like in the city and you get so wound up and you walk around and like you look at everyone in the eye and you're like, what's he looking at? What's that person looking at?
Yeah.
And then like I'll have mushrooms, like I had them last Friday, I think. Like I do them once every couple of weeks, like just at home by myself on a Friday.
Yep.
And like
microdose or just mushies, like a
just had a microdose. I just had one and did some creative like editing, like skydiving footage on my computer and had the best night ever. It was so much fun. And then it just wears off after 4 hours and you go to bed and you wake up the next day and you're absolutely fine. But it's like, it's cleans the slate in your brain, you know, like the next 5 days or the next week, I'm just like in my bubble. I'm so happy. I'm so focused on myself and I'm so connected with my emotions and, you know, I'm not going to say universe because I don't want it to sound too woo-woo, but you feel very connected to everything around you and in touch, and you can put a lot of things into perspective, which for me is like, you know, you get caught up in looking at your phone and too many other things, and you just need that reset. And I find it's such a huge reset. Like it literally, it's just a reset button. Yeah, it's just boom, done, reset. Okay, wake up the next day, and I'm just so much better off. Yeah, which is fantastic.
It's fascinating. We have a podcast lined up with this woman, Jessica Nielsen. She works for MAPS. Yeah, you know I don't even know what that acronym stands for. M something A something. Psychedelic studies or whatever. Yeah, right. MAPS is one of the organisations that maybe the lead organisation in the world that are doing all the studies on psilocybin for anxiety, depression, ayahuasca for anxiety, depression, PTSD with psilocybin, stuff like that. Cool. So because I've been like looking, that's why I wanted to do ayahuasca way back I still do, but I don't feel like I need to do it right now anymore.
No.
I don't really have anxiety going on.
It'll come. It's one of those things. It'll present itself when you're ready to do it, when it needs to happen. If you chase it out, it's going to be the wrong circumstance.
That's right. And I felt like I needed it when I was really going through the rough time. Now I feel like I want to do it, and anytime I get the chance I will, but I'm not screaming to do it right now.
Yeah, sure.
But I was looking right into like anxiety and depression with ayahuasca, and I actually didn't realize that when people say, in particular with, and I wish that at some point I would have done ayahuasca so I can converse
Even
better.
when you were going through the worst of it?
No,
I've never done it either.
No, I just mean like the conversations that I keep having talking about ayahuasca when I haven't done it. That's all you know.
Yes.
But I looked into the ayahuasca in particular, and it was most of the anxiety studies that have been done were funded with the anxiety of fear of death.
Yeah.
And
that's right. Exactly. We spoke about that last
time.
And it's like the fear of death, the anxiety from fear of death with ayahuasca, it's like a 98% treatment rate.
Really?
Because, and the reason is because everyone that goes and does ayahuasca, have you done ayahuasca?
No,
you haven't, have you? So everyone that goes and does ayahuasca, they have an ayahuasca experience and they come out and they go, it's all good.
Yeah.
I know that there's more.
Yeah.
I know that there's more, and it's just here. I just can't see it when I'm in this state.
Yeah,
I can see it when I'm in the other state. It's like, and it just gives away the whole idea of like life is finite.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like
it's over. There's nothing.
There's another door that just gets open, and they're like, it's cool. I'm cool with whatever happens because I know that there's so much more out there.
Yeah.
Well, that's what Max said.
Definitely.
He's like,
he got that from DMT.
Yeah,
which I get that from DMT. You get that exact same feeling from DMT.
Well,
Not exactly.
yeah.
Well, that's what ayahuasca is.
Yeah.
Apparently a DMT trip for a prolonged time. DMT only lasts for like 15 minutes, but ayahuasca lasts for a lot longer.
DMT is the psychoactive substance in ayahuasca.
Yes, exactly.
But it's just delivered way differently.
Yeah, and doesn't it feel like, but even in that 15 minutes of how long it lasts for, you feel like it's just gone on for, can't you have a breakthrough experience where you feel like time is gone?
Yeah, time in this dimension.
In this dimension,
it's a different dimension. It feels like it's same but different. I can't really explain it.
Exactly.
Yeah, you could come out and be like, it feels like you've been gone for a long time.
Well, I just did edible weed again recently. I had so much of it that I started hallucinating like a shit ton.
Yeah, apparently that stuff's fucking hectic, man.
It was exactly like shrooms. It was exactly like shrooms. I mean, it was so fucked, and I felt like my whole trip was on a time loop. So I'd have 5 minutes, and then I'd be like, come back in, and I'd be like, oh, what the fuck? That's right. Like I'm Tom. Like I'm just hallucinating. Yeah. And then I'd go back, and I'd be like, time would go, and then I'd come back and
just
be like,
in waves.
I could not handle
horrible.
it. Yeah, it was insane. I could not handle it. But I'm clearly in a much better position mentally in my life now than when I did shrooms, 5-6 years ago, because I hated it back then. It caused me a shit ton of anxiety. But now doing edibles, because you can't just wash your face and just be like, oh yeah, I could just wash my face and I'm back to it. Like it's in your head and you're like, oh, I've got to cop this for however long it lasts.
It's gone deeper.
Yeah. But I was hallucinating so much, and I never thought I'd hallucinate off weed, but hallucinated
that's heavy.
Yeah,
I can believe that because the first time I ever got stoned.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were there. I think it was me and Isaac. The first
time I got stoned was with you. Yeah. So, at a house party.
Yeah. So the first time I ever got stoned, I think it was with Isaac in Isaac's shed. One of my mates, Isaac, right?
Yeah.
And we made this bong and we smoked it. Whatever. We were like 15, and Isaac.
Did you get the old garden hose? The old garden hose.
Yeah. Bottle.
We buried that at my old family house when we moved out
with my mum.
Yes. Anyway, I remember so distinctly. I had like a bong, 2 bongs, whatever, and Isaac had a couple, and then we were so young, fresh, whatever. Yeah. And Isaac started throwing up. Yeah. Like he was so stoned, he just started vomiting and vomiting and vomiting. And it must have just been like a normal, regular patch of vomit. To me, it looked like an extra large pizza. It's like a table. Wow. But I was looking at it like it was a pizza. Isaac kept saying, "Help me clean it up." And he looked like Donkey Kong. He turned into Donkey Kong. So he's pushing around.
I can see that. I can definitely see that.
Making this
Did he throw a barrel at you?
He's sitting over there. Going, help me. And it looks like Donkey Kong making a massive pizza. Yeah. And I was going, oh my God, this is the best.
Did you eat it?
So hallucinogenic or hallucinatory, like that experience And never really since then, you get stoned as hell and like something will happen. But I 100% was you were
hallucinating
hard. Yeah. It was
it's fucked. I never thought we could do that. I thought I'd just get really, really high.
Yeah.
But I just hit this point where I was like, I literally am seeing things right now.
Yeah,
This is just weird. I couldn't make sense of time either. Like, it was just great.
That's crazy.
But I really am fascinated about like psychedelics from a medicinal perspective, but also from a very spiritual perspective.
For sure.
Like when you reached out to me after I did that episode with David Matheson.
Yeah, awesome. That was a great podcast. I really enjoyed that. I really like that guy.
Yeah, he's fascinating, isn't he?
I've listened to a few podcasts that he's been on, and there's so much information there.
Oh, but I just want to keep picking his brain because I mean that sort of he must have sort of experimented with this sort of stuff, like
100%.
That stuff
all
with
of those guys would have.
Yeah, like with the stars and what Graham Hancock always talks about. Like, do you feel? Have you?
They all call it shamanistic experiences.
Yeah.
That's their term for getting high.
Exactly.
To put it in a nice way. But yeah, they all talk about it constantly.
Well, have you ever meditated on shrooms?
No, I've done the Wim Hof method, which I definitely would think is meditation. Like I do that every day, and I've done it on mushrooms, and it was epic because like you actually, when you practice the Wim Hof method enough, it's like you release DMT. Like I've seen, I get colors, I get crazy. Like, man, I go deep in that breathing technique, and doing it on mushrooms was legit.
Next level.
I remember
it was so cool.
When we
I'm
did
getting chills thinking about how cool that was.
When we did the evening with Wim Hof, the night before we interviewed him, I went with Siera to the evening with Wim Hof thing. I went with Ezra too. We were talking about earlier. Ezra from the Balaclava.
Big Ez.
And Siera. So it was 3 different people had 3 different experiences. So we did like 5-10 minutes of like Wim Hof breathing or whatever. And there was Ezra. I was in the middle. Ezra was on my right. Siera was on my left. I look over at Ezra, and Ezra's just one of those guys that, like, I'm not that spiritual, whatever, like, but I was willing to buy into it. I felt like Ezra wasn't really willing to buy into it when he walked in the door.
The opposite.
Yeah,
just like not keen.
So I look on my right. I'm like, Ez, how'd you go? He sits up. He goes, nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Nice,
I'm like in between. I'm like, kind of felt like whatever. I turn over and Siera goes, mate, and he was crept up in this
cramping.
like,
I was crying.
I heard you were just next
Tears
level.
were flowing down my face. But from what I've come to realize, like after that experience, it's the breathing technique. Because I've had sessions, like I've sort of been touched in and out of it for a while. Now I've routinely do it pretty much every morning.
Yep.
But it's like when I got back into it, I couldn't get there. It was like, man, why isn't it working? But it was my breathing technique. So that's what I think. Ez was probably not doing the correct breathing technique. Maybe you weren't doing it as good.
Yeah.
But
So what do you? Because I never really kicked on, and I should have, because I meditate every day.
Yeah.
And I've just never kicked on and really given the Wim Hof technique a real go. I pretty much, which I'm kind of disappointed with myself that I haven't, because I should really try it. But like, what do you get from it when you do it? Like, why do you do it every day?
Everything. It's a form of meditation. The way it trains your body to work when there's less oxygen, so your body can still function in a super high stress environment. And once you're doing it for a while, you notice it like a lot. So like when I'm skydiving and I probably get like a little bit of performance anxiety, I'm a lot calmer. I'm a lot calmer in free fall. When I'm doing CrossFit and stuff like that, like I'm never out of breath anymore. Like for some reason, it's bizarre. Like I'll be gassed in a WOD and my muscles aren't working, but I'm not like, I'm just like, I'm deep breathing, but I'm like, I'm so 100% there. Like,
just
and it's changing.
I've got to get back on it.
It's super, super good. Also coupling that with the ice bathing is fantastic. Like I have cold showers every day, and it's like, I don't feel the cold at all compared to what I used to. And I'm skin and bone. Like I probably have 2% body fat. Yeah. And it's like I surf all winter.
I really don't know if you're going to win the CrossFit Games this season, Tom.
Yeah, I know, unfortunately.
Well, it's all good being ambitious, mate, but you're really arrogant there.
I'm aiming high, though.
If he didn't break his leg, then, he did say he was going. So.
Nice thighs.
Yeah. But like everything from like your immune system as well, things like that, there's heaps of different benefits, like getting rid of inflammation. When I got the cast off with my broken leg, I got right into the breathing, and I think that treat with the ice bath, like I was kind of worried when I got the cast off, and I was like, man, like I've done some damage, like I could have really fucked this up. I was really upset with myself, and that's why I got turbo like into my rehabilitation and got crazy with it. And I was breathing every like day for a couple of hours and doing the ice treatment, and within like a week and a half, all the swelling had disappeared.
Shit,
Really?
Just
that's
gone,
insane.
man. It's like gone. And now I can like hold my breath for like 3.5 minutes when I'm doing the method. And
Yep.
I had I grew up with chain smoking parents that smoked in the living room, and I've always been out of breath. Like
Yep.
always out of fucking breath. And now it's like
You're on.
I'm not. It's really good.
Has it been known to cure asthma, things like that?
I don't know if you could say cure, but there's probably people that it's definitely helped a lot. Like lots of autoimmune diseases, it helps with a lot. Altitude sickness is a massive one. So because you're training your body to survive and work in the high stress environment with bugger all oxygen, when you go like climbing in the mountains and things like that, people are being able to do it super easy without oxygen. Like,
Exactly.
Have you guys read the book What Doesn't Kill Us? Or
Nah.
Scott Carney, but he's a guy that went set out. He was a debunker, so he was debunking gurus and shamans and
good.
shit like this. And he got onto Wim Hof. He debunked like 8 people and was like, "I'm going to debunk Wim Hof." And like now, it turns out 8 years later, he's a Wim Hof teacher, and
Really?
he's
Wow.
climbed. Like he's like all about it because
That's
it's actually
classic,
real.
man.
Like they climbed Kilimanjaro in like 32 hours, and it's usually a 6-day hike because you've got to.
You just keep going.
You've got to acclimatise. I can't remember what it is where you've got to acclimatise to the oxygen. There's another word for it. But you have to stop every night at a certain point and let your body like get acclimatised to the less oxygen.
Yes.
They just all the way up, just fucking top to bottom. You know what I mean? Like
That is
they
mental,
slept
isn't it?
one night. They slept that first night and then they got up there like the second
Was that last
day.
year, I think?
No, I think it was, the book's been out for maybe a year or so it was before then.
Okay.
But there's another story in that book of a guy breaking his leg and taking no pain medicine from when he got picked up by the ambulance or whoever, the paramedics. He refused it. He didn't have any, like he had nothing during the surgery. They performed surgery and he was just breathing and breathing and breathing. And then he kept breathing for like 2 weeks, like obviously in periods, so he'd eat and sleep, but spending most of his waking hours breathing. And his bone healed like in a fraction of the time that it did. He got the stitches in after the surgery. They said come back in like 3 weeks or something. And he was back there within like 5 days, like saying, "Can you take them out?" Like they're ready to be taken out. And they were out. And they were like, they couldn't figure out how it happened.
That's
And
actually next level.
It is next level. But I think it's also a lot of that is.
That's
a lot of the Wim Hof
insane.
method is unlocking your willpower, you know? Like that's the main, like people think that the Wim Hof is all about breathing and then how long you can stay in the ice. And everyone's really competitive about that. But it's not. Like the fundamental thing that he's teaching is love and, you know, like unlocking the secrets of our physiology, like believing in ourselves, you know? And that's the true...
Yeah, that's right. And the other thing is, even if the whole Wim Hof method, for example, and to some degree there's got to be some part of this, I would imagine, but even if the whole Wim Hof thing is a placebo, placebos work.
It still works.
Exactly.
Placebos
Yep.
placebos work 100%. And the body, not just the mind, the body responds to placebo.
Absolutely.
So like that thing with your healing of your leg, if you're like every day, if it's not Wim Hof, but if every day some fucking crazy witch doctor comes up and goes, tap yourself on the head 3 times, poke yourself in the fucking eye and fucking
Shake
twiddle
yourself off.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, do this every day for 5 days and go back and your leg will be healed.
Yep.
If you believe it and you do
probably
it,
will
If it makes you feel better, then do it.
Exactly.
you're
You know
probably
what I
going to be in the
mean?
same
Like,
position as the Wim Hof dude. Maybe maybe not. Maybe there is obviously physiological changes with the Wim Hof method with your body, but also just with the placebo effect. Like,
gonna
if you've got a placebo
absolutely.
that works, who gives a fuck? It works.
Yeah,
like,
exactly,
to a
man.
degree.
As long as you feel better about it, you know,
Yeah.
like that's the main thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what other is there any other aspects of life you've noticed that Wim Hof sort of benefiting, or?
Yeah, when I first started, like when you go through the breathing retention, like drills, I was struggling a lot and I was getting quite like stuck in the fight or flight mode, and I was like, I couldn't figure out. You know, I was trying to time myself with breathing, and I was forgetting things, and I was having a hard time trying to sort of keep my thoughts like at bay, like not going crazy.
Yep.
And now I'm like through the whole method, like through my 5 rounds that I do, my 45-minute sessions or whatever, like I'm so coherent the whole time, you know, like
Really?
Yeah, it's real. I've got like it's weird to say, but like your body does really get used to that stress level, and
Exactly.
It's fantastic. It's
But
really cool.
so stress level isn't so, because I remember when I did it, it was just the rounds of breathing and breathing in more and breathing in more, and like, so you breathe in more oxygen, but you just blow out just a little less every time.
You don't blow out. You just let it go.
Yeah.
And that letting go and then putting more oxygen into your body, I think your body stores 20% of that oxygen each breath. So you're forcing more oxygen in.
Yeah.
And then when you do the breath retention, you expel CO2, is it? So then
Yes.
So the oxygen is able to penetrate further into your body, into your blood, into your cells and things like that. And you can feel it, like when you're breathing and you reach the point of saturation, like you can feel, like it's weird, but you can feel it in your feet and your toes. Everything feels lighter and
that's a tingle.
Your senses are all heightened and it's really cool.
And so do you like, is there an ability for you to sort of, so if I was to do this, I'd be like, and then that would be, I'd get that tingle feeling, but then it would go away.
Yeah.
But is it the more that you do the Wim Hof method, the more like chronically you maintain that tingle?
No,
Or is it like,
definitely. Like you learn that through the breathing. So experimenting through the breathing technique. So you're probably breathing really good at the start, but then once you got the tingling, you probably didn't know, but your breathing might have changed your rhythm and it didn't work as well. And at first, I couldn't figure that out either. And that was what I was saying earlier, where I was kind of struggling to figure out what I was doing. But now it's like I'm in so much control while I'm doing it. I can feel the saturation. I can slow my breathing rate down. I can hold a little bit longer at the top or before the exhale. And then when I go for my like breathe in, breathe out, and then my retention, like I just kick back with some music on and it's just like, you just don't need to breathe. It's the weirdest feeling. And like you dive into like your mind and you sort of let the brain release whatever chemicals it's releasing at the time. And you're listening to some really weird out there music that you probably never tell anyone that you listen to. And then you look
Strawberry
at
Kisses, Nikki Webster.
And then you look at your clock and you've been holding your breath for 3 minutes and you're just like, wow, like I couldn't hold my breath for 30 seconds before that, you know?
Exactly.
So,
it makes me just want to meditate. In all honesty,
well, that's
just
exactly
get
it.
Really in myself.
It's definitely, for me, it's definitely like a form of meditation. I do normal meditation before bed at night to relax my mind. But in the morning, it's such an energizing thing. It like, you know, it just like I can't do the Wim Hof before bed because like I can't sleep. Like my energy levels are just like boosting through the roof. Like I'm full of endorphins and just feeling so good in the morning. So it's one of the ways I start my morning, you know. It's get your metabolism going and you're just like, good to go.
Crazy, isn't it?
So what about ADHD, like bringing back ADHD to the topic of discussion? I feel like there's a lot of misdiagnosis with it.
100%
I feel like a lot of kids, a lot of boys that get diagnosed with ADHD are just like kids that don't have a lot of energy. They don't know how to filter it. They eat fucking Fruit Loops or like Nutri-Grain every morning for breakfast. So they're hyped up on sugar.
Chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah, exactly. Me, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Well, that was more cocaine, but anyway, you know, you spoke about that now. But like, so there is like a genuine illness, which is ADHD, and how do you sort of like filter the misdiagnosis from the diagnosis? Like, can you see people that are just energy heads that are eating the wrong diet, and then can you see people that like literally need help?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I think I'm genuinely one of those people that really needed help. Like when I went in to see the doctor, they gave me a quiz to fill in, and it was like, from 1 to 5, do you suffer from this, 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 and this? And I ticked 5 being the like how much you suffer from it. And I was like 5 on everything, but then on one of them I went back to a 4 because I didn't want him to think like that I was fucking with him. And he's like, "Have you been honest here?" And I was like, "Nah, like that 4 should be a 5." And then he's like, "Oh, okay." And I actually got a referral from my doctor to see, I think it's a psychologist or a psychiatrist, I can't remember which guy it was. But the girls in the hospital, my doctors were like, "Yeah, we were actually thinking like we were going to book you in for an appointment because, you know, you come in, you don't have Medicare card, you forget your wallet every time, you leave your keys here every time you're here, you're running like a million miles an hour."
You're not
like,
wearing any pants.
No, I just do that all the time.
It's a fucking pants on, man.
Yeah, and then on the other side of it, you could like, I know people that sort of party a bit and they take it for a different reason, but I don't get that. Like I've given Dexies to my friends and they're like, "Whoa, I'm cooked. Like I'm partying." And it's like, I eat too and I'm just like, nothing changes towards my energy levels. It's just my thought process is where it changes. I go from having my brain just firing total shit at my mind constantly all day, to being able to file that shit into a priority list of, okay, I need to do that and I should do that before that and I can focus here and stuff. But it's a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Like I take my Dexies and 3 hours later, like I can feel it in my mind, like I'm good and I'm doing my work. And then all of a sudden I start thinking about crap and I'm like, look at my watch and all the time and I'm like, oh yeah, it's time to go again, you know? Whereas like, I'm trying to do all these other methods like Wim Hof meditation, my diet, trying to train my brain so that like I can cure myself.
You can cure it. Yeah.
It's definitely something that's just putting a Band-Aid over it.
Totally.
Whereas there's definitely ways if you put more time and effort into it where you can cure yourself for sure.
Yep.
And that's one of those things, you know, like it's so easy for them to just write a script to you.
Oh,
and
totally.
I pay money to Big Pharma and whoever owns that company just cashes in. And
It's commission based as well.
yeah, 100%.
Yep.
So...
I think we're going to use that quote that you said before, my brain firing shit out of my mind.
Yeah.
That was so good. I loved
Totally.
it.
I didn't know he had a brain and a mind.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm learning.
I didn't know your brain or mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, it's fascinating stuff, isn't it?
Classic.
So, do you get any anxiety-derived ADHD? Like, does it cause that sort of stuff? Or?
I'm not an anxious in some ways, I guess I am. I get performance anxiety from like sport and jumping and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I work myself up. That's just me working it up. I don't think that the ADHD would make it worse. I'm not too sure. It's hard to sort of say. I don't get it any more or less if I'm medicated or if I'm not medicated.
Yeah, okay.
But I'm sort of dealing with those types of anxieties through different ways. Are you guys familiar with nootropics at all?
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
not
so
too.
I'm all about nootropics now.
Like bulletproof coffee.
Okay.
That's basically
is MCT with MCT oil and stuff is the ketogenic, having your brain running ketones. However you've done it is kind of like forcing. You've probably done it through some sort of nootropic practice. It's basically brain. It's basically supplements for your brain.
Yeah, 100%. It's like carbs for your brain.
Oh, okay.
So, but there's all different types
On
of...
it is a
nootropics.
nootropics.
Oh,
Definitely,
yes.
But there's like...
All right, okay, I'm with you.
There's all these other different chemicals like alpha GCP and stuff like that, and all these chemicals out there that you can take that are all natural that promote memory function. You know, like
that's why I started taking. I didn't start taking brain octane from On It brain octane. No, it was a brain octane from Bulletproof Coffee. One of the two, and it was because when I started this podcast, I was nervous and like a little bit anxious about the fact that I never remembered shit.
Yeah.
I used to...
Totally.
And now I couldn't give a fuck if I never remember anything. It's fine.
Yeah.
I feel fine to have a conversation regardless. But when I was like, oh shit, I'm going to be doing a podcast, whatever, I started really questioning my mind and my ability to recall things because I literally feel like you, where I just have no fucking ability to do so. And then, so I started with nootropics, and then I wasn't really feel like I was getting anything out of it. And then I started, which was cool.
Probably weren't taking the right ones.
Yeah, and I also didn't really care. It was mainly a podcast-induced kind of thing that I was worried about.
Yeah.
But then I got to the point where I hadn't been using nootropics, but when we're going back to the point about reading books and trying to concentrate and take more in, your comprehension level, I started taking notes on books that I wanted to remember shit. Yeah. I'm like, this is the only way I'm going to be able to retain this information is if I fucking study this book and take notes and, little highlight and then little tabs on each page with what I'm trying to keep in my mind.
Yeah.
But nootropics is one of the things that I wanted to look into more. I just didn't really feel like I got... You know how when you pay for something or you're doing something, you want to feel like you can tell the difference?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't feel like I could.
Yeah, it's not like eating a pinger and you're cooked.
Yeah.
You know, like it's a very
$20 ever spent.
Nootropics. It's not like eating a pinger and you're cooked.
Yeah, it's
so good.
It's very subtle. I mean, I gave some to my girlfriend the other week.
Pingers?
No. I walked into that. She's a dentist and she spends all day with kids and talking to people. And she struggles sometimes with her verbal fluidity and things like that. And I was like, try this new pet product. Like, it's amazing for verbal fluidity and like just brain cognitive functioning and stuff like that. And she was like, oh, what is it going to make me this? It's going to be like that. And I'm like, no, it doesn't change like anything. It's just the best form of you that you can be.
Yeah.
You know, it just puts you at 80% to 100%. It doesn't change your consciousness like drugs do. You know, like you know straight away when you've had drugs because it's like it's totally weird. Where you do not get that. You just things just work better and you remember things like with the right nootropics.
It's like
anyway.
having a good
really
diet.
me.
It's like food.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like you're optimizing
it is.
your internal organs by the way they work by putting better food in.
100%, but these are food for the brain.
The organs of the brain, that's right.
I would
Exactly.
really get into this stuff.
It's such an interesting topic. There's actually a podcast that I listen to, which is it's called Cortex something, and it's the Nootropics podcast.
Wow.
And this guy just talks about every single chemical out there, what it does, what it doesn't do. He tells you how to sort of dose yourself. And
I need to do that shit.
Yeah, man, I've learnt so much from that podcast. It's so interesting, man. It's really, really good.
See, that's the thing with me, man. Like, I always, like, I get so excited about all these little things I want to do, and I, like, set my life up and try to be more organized, and then I do fuck all, and it just pisses me off.
Dude,
like,
for sure.
But I also...
Time management, man. Like, that's what it comes down to. Like,
yeah, but I also wanted to pick your brain because, like, I'm always late to things. Like, do I have ADHD is my question.
I would definitely say both of you suffer from it, for sure.
But I mean, it doesn't hurt. It's not a negative thing in my life to the point where I would have to go and see a doctor about it, you know? I mean, like, I've managed to, like, hopefully build a business, like being on a podcast where, like, it's praised for me talking and saying things before I actually think about what I say.
Yeah.
So, and, like,
It's the one time you can really...
It's the one time I can do it.
for doing
You
that.
can dribble.
Yeah. So, like, I'm totally myself on this podcast, and I'm the most politically incorrect version of myself on this show. But, like, CrossFit helps as well because it filters all the energy that I have.
Definitely,
You know, you
for
can
sure.
do things that sort of help a little bit.
Yeah.
But, like, that's probably why I wouldn't say I'm, like, severely there is an issue there.
Yeah.
Or I could just have a lot of energy, not know what to do.
Yeah,
with
you
it.
definitely have a lot of energy, but yeah.
Yeah, you are a real genuine gimp, mate.
Yeah, the sugar chocolate
help.
cookies probably don't help.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you find meditating helps you?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it helps me so much, man.
I don't know how I would function. I don't know how I functioned for 21 years without meditating every day. Like, it was just insane.
Yeah.
I haven't meditated for the past maybe 5 to 6 days.
Yeah, right.
I've really noticed it.
Yeah, for
really
sure.
noticed it. Yeah.
Tell you what, I reckon I would love to go back in a time machine and do on the topic of meditation. I always used to like now with my life of meditation and my ability to handle stress and performance anxiety so much better, and I never would have played AFL football no matter how much meditation I did, right? No way. I played with guys that got drafted, and I know how good they are. They were mental. Their mental makeup is different to mine. Their mental makeup is...
They got true grit.
Yeah, but they know where the football's going to go. Above all other stuff, they know
don't give a fuck about
on a
running
different level than us.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
so
They're ready of the players.
So I have no doubt that I wouldn't regard, no matter how much meditation could help me make it to the AFL.
Yeah.
But I used to play football. When I would play local football, like, and this can be, you know, extrapolated out to any sort of exploit that you're doing that you're putting pressure on yourself. I used to put so much fucking pressure on myself. My week would be terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
I would fucking be miserable throughout the whole winter if I wasn't playing well. If I was playing well, I'd be my normal self.
Yeah.
But if I wasn't, I'd be so miserable. And I would go into games, like, with a fucking... My heart would be jacked.
Oh, of course, for sure.
Yeah, and, like, I really genuinely don't feel like... I'm not playing sport anymore, so I don't really know. But I feel like if I took the football field now, you know, I have no want to do that, but I feel like it would be a totally different ball game.
As a mature age, like as a mature minded person.
As a mature mind,
for sure.
because every sport is, I mean, there's ability and then there's your mind. And your mind plays...
everything.
Yeah.
It's way more than 50%, put it that way.
Yeah, it trumps fucking any talent, any fucking skill, any whatever.
Yeah.
If you're mentally 100% and the other bloke is 50% or the other team or the other whoever, then you're probably going to win because you're going to find a way and you're going to fuck whatever. But yeah, that's the one thing that I always think with, because I've been able to...
But that's life though, you learn.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm applying meditation to my life and it's making me a better person in general. It's no worries. I'm not playing sport at the moment. But it is something that I...
Isn't your back cooked right now?
My back's all right, mate. But anyway, good segue though. But
Speaking of which, DMT.
But so I just think it's really interesting. And I think you were talking about performance anxiety with skydiving. Like, everyone has performance anxiety. It'd be interesting to see, like,
for sure.
in the future if...
Because it's uncertainty.
Yeah, but imagine in the future if, like, professional sporting teams, I could 100% see this happening. Professional sporting teams, righto guys, we've done our warm-up, we're out on the field, we've done our kicks, we've done all that, we've come inside, everyone sit down, let's breathe for 10 minutes, and then let's go hit the field.
This is
Like,
actually,
imagine that.
this is something that I think's definitely going to start taking off.
Yeah.
I've got a friend that's a MMA fighter, and he's lost his last two fights. And I actually want to start writing him a program that would be about meditation, teaching him like ways to learn how to study for other fighters better, how to just deal with the fact that, I've lost 2 fights, but so what? You
Clean
know,
slate.
like that's got nothing to do with this next fight, And I think in a lot of sports like that, your mind just fucks you totally.
Yeah.
It's such a
100%.
fucker.
Yeah.
My brother's a better example than me, because my brother, I genuinely 100% think if he wasn't the same makeup as me mentally and put too much pressure on himself as a footballer, he would be playing AFL. He's so fucking talented.
Yeah, right.
Like, he held the record for the vertical leap at Dandenong Stingrays, which is like high level stuff.
Yeah.
Like, he
High level.
He was just
I like that.
High level.
He was
High level
just
jumping competition.
Yeah.
Look, he was just good. Put it this way. He was just
all right, mate, all right.
He was just he was just
High level shit. All right, he was good.
Have another
Just
cookie,
relax.
mate.
Yeah,
Have another
fine.
fucking cookie,
We'll
mate.
have another cookie and a beer. I'll do the other.
I think. Anyway, I think it's pretty fascinating. It's funny that it hasn't already gotten to that point with like.
reckon
Maybe,
they've
maybe
dabbled.
it
Because
does.
it's
Maybe
too,
it is.
it's still too woo-woo.
Yeah,
like
too taboo.
people
It
like
is.
meditating dickhead in fucking 10 years. People will be getting a Brownlow going, man, if it wasn't for the meditation, swear to God.
Yeah.
Man, that is going to happen. I tell you, like, the paradigm shift will be happening for sure.
100%.
And I think,
Absolutely.
like, like that whole wellness thing, which is like now a fucking $1 billion industry.
Yeah.
It's really taking off. And people rag on it a lot, but it's like, they're the
Making people better.
Yeah, exactly. If it's helping you be better at what you want to be better at, do it.
Mate, I had a dude.
Get into it.
I had a dude that two levels below on level 3 of the Commons that have meditation class once a week.
Yeah.
And we're getting Minaj the dude on the show. He's a really good guy. He's
Minaj
coming.
Twa.
Menage a trois. Yeah. It's going to be weird. It's going to be strange.
That. He's like,
I know.
Menage a trois. How are you, mate? Fuck off.
He had a meditation class going on a Monday or something like that. It was the first session, and 25 people went down there. Danae at the front desk was like, we're having a meditation class. You want to go down? I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll go down. Went down there, and so he's like, okay, guys, so firstly, I'm Minaj, blah, blah, blah. And basically his first question was, so who has a mindfulness practice in the room? Put your hand up if you have a mindfulness practice. And this joint here, obviously, it's very, everyone's like young
wave,
entrepreneurs, like it's very forward-thinking, very like, it feels like a Google vibe, Like,
Yeah, for sure.
I was the only person that put the hand up, and whether the other 75 people in the Commons just meditate and they don't want to go to a class.
Yeah.
But in this 25, in the group of 25 people, I was the only person to put out. I was fucking shocked.
Wow.
Anyway, so talking about how it's still woo-woo and like people give it shit. So about 2 or 3 days later, I was in the kitchen and this dude walks up to me, and we'd never met before. And
Here we go.
but he was in the bow chicka wow.
Cue the music.
Next thing you know.
But so he walked up, and he's a ripper bloke. I got to know him well now. But he walked up to me, and
You're setting it up, mate.
he walked up and he goes, "Hey man." He goes,
Dude, come on.
Wait. So he looked at me, he says, "Hey man," and he goes, "Been meditating." Like with a laugh,
Really?
like taking the piss,
Yeah.
because we were both in the meditation class. And I looked at him, like not being a jerk at all. I looked at him and said, "Man, I've meditated every day for 18 months."
Yeah.
And he was like, he looked at me like, I don't look like
You
a dude
naive
that would.
fuck.
Yeah. But I've got like a beard tattoos. Like, I'm a jock looking kind of dude. I don't know, like alternative looking.
Kinda dumb.
I don't know what I look like, but I don't look like. I don't look like the Dalai fucking Lama.
Yeah,
like, I don't look like,
no. You don't look like
You're
a
not a
meditator.
stereotypical dude.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. So, and he was like, yeah, and I'm like, yeah, man, it just makes my life better. It makes work easier. It makes everything that I do, it makes it better. And he was like, really? And then started asking me questions. Anyway, that dude now meditates, like, loves it. 100%. Yeah,
That's epic.
100%.
That's
awesome. Pay it
super
forward.
cool.
Pay it
Yeah,
forward.
that's really cool.
Yeah. So, it's fucking great. But that thing is like, the first thing, like, we were there together, We were there in the room together. We wanted to go see what it was about. I knew what it was about, but I wanted to do the class.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was still, like, the default of this dude, adult kind of grown-up male fucking guy, like, his default to me, looking at me, was
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
the thing
Yeah.
that I have to say to this dude is like, how's that meditation shit?
Yeah.
Like, that was the first thing. And he
Yeah.
might not have been thinking that,
Yeah.
but I think he felt like he had to say, that's
For sure.
the thing with...
Test the waters. Maybe he
culture.
went home and he's been meditating since. He's like, I'll
Yeah.
just test the waters and see if this is socially acceptable.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm loving it.
Exactly.
But
Now
I
you
tell
get
you
it.
what, man, like, how bizarre is it how it's not socially acceptable to just hang out with yourself? Like, meditation is literally just like It's not someone sitting like this going, oh, I'm one with the universe. It's just like literally hanging out with yourself. And people are like, oh, it's fucking weird, man. Like, what are you doing? It's like, man, I'm just being me.
Yeah,
just being me. I don't
exactly.
need anything else. You know, I mean, boredom is literally having a ton of things to do, but not being able to put all of your attention to one task. It's like, man, I'm so bored. It's like, oh, well, you could go for a run. You could sit in a park. You could talk shit with your mates. You could eat some food. Like, there's a billion things to do here. And yet, like, you're bored. It's, like, embarrassing. Like, I look back on all the times I used to tell my parents that I was bored. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh,
like, I was wasting time in my life.
Oh, man.
It's
my
embarrassing.
Whole life,
Yeah.
like,
It's
I
gone.
wasted 30 years. Dude, that's something I actually meditate on a lot. Like,
Yeah.
I think about that a lot because it really cuts me deep,
Oh,
man.
man,
Like,
it's
oh,
insane.
My God.
But, like, it's good that we learn, even if I felt like there was someone who went through his whole life and that the day before he died, he realised that, you know, you could just be one with himself.
Always better late than
Then
never.
that's okay. It's
Yeah.
always better late than never. But, like, I mean, there's a lot of time there where I was just annoying people because I just couldn't be with myself.
For sure.
And that sucks, you know?
Yeah.
Annoying
Self-awareness. Oh, mate, it's the worst.
Or people, when someone talks about meditation or you bring it up with someone and they're like, oh, nah, I tried that a few times, but I sucked at it. It's
Yeah.
like, what do you
I
mean?
always
That's
say-
the game of the
Yeah,
game. Like,
yeah.
you suck at it.
You
Like,
always
that's
suck
why
at
you
it.
do it. You know?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
you know?
There's so many funny things like that.
But the
That's
thing
hilarious.
is, people think, and I did as well, because Mum used to always tell me to meditate. Like, people that have never been explained what meditation is and what it does.
Yeah,
Exactly.
There's a lot
They
of
think
misconceptions out
spiritual-
there.
Yeah,
over
they
it.
think you're
For
sitting there
sure.
with your legs crossed
Yeah.
and your palms in there, and you're trying to have an out of body experience, looking down on yourself while you're on it. Yeah, exactly. That's what people think.
Yeah.
And like when I was talking to the dude, and I talked to Danae at the front desk. She's now on Buddhify. You put me on a Buddhify. I put on Danae because she was telling me she's stressed.
Pain to death.
There
That's
you go.
right. And then, but like
You should give her some mushrooms too.
When
I think she'd benefit from them.
when you explain, like, or when people understand and explain what it is, like, it's concentrating on one thing, which is your breath.
Just your breath.
Trying to concentrate on that thing rather than the other 200,000
Yep.
things that you concentrate on at the same time. If you can concentrate on one thing, then that's effectively your mind being cleared. And people
get
are like,
better at it.
well, that kind of makes sense. I'm like, well, of course it makes sense. I don't do it because I'm a fucking airy fairy. I do it
Yeah.
because it works.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a very...
'Cause it's
I'm-
amazing.
Yeah. It's for me, it's like, if it didn't work, it's not...
You wouldn't do it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's like,
but it's your choice whether you want to go down the spiritual realm or
Yeah.
whether you just want to keep it mindful and just keep being better at being attentive.
And
Yeah,
the
just
deeper you-
relax, just to
Just
control
chill.
your mind a little bit.
Yeah.
Sometimes if I'm like racing at work or after work and I'm like not really achieving because my mind's just going too fast, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll be like, fuck, okay, like I'll either go sit in the car for 5 minutes or I'll like, if I'm at home, I'll just sit down for 5 minutes and I'll just meditate for
Yeah.
5 fucking minutes
Yeah.
and I'm a different person.
Yeah,
Everything
100%.
makes sense
Literally a
again.
different
Like
person.
it
Yeah.
changes everything, you know? And
100%.
it's like, yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
man,
you
I know.
can't think about it and you can concentrate for like a second and you follow your breath for maybe a second, then a thought comes in and it's all about recognizing that thought and going, oh, let's dissolve that. Cool, back to
Yeah.
the breath. And it's
Yeah.
like each time you do that, it gets longer and the period gets longer
Yeah.
and then you get better at it and then you're really meditating, you know?
How's the
When
one
your
where
whole-
people are like, oh yeah, I don't have time? It's like, you don't have 5 minutes. Like 5 minutes is literally a different Tommy Siera.
Yeah.
It's just like, man, I've got a lot on. I've got a heap on. It's like,
Yeah.
well, when you spent 3.5 hours drinking piss watching TV last night.
Yeah, exactly.
You tell me you don't have 5 minutes.
Oh, man.
You know?
Sometimes it's just a couple of deep breaths, you know? Like during the day, I will literally just be like, couple of deep belly breaths, just slow it all down, just relax
That's
a
right.
little bit, and it makes a massive difference, man.
That's
Well,
right.
that's what Eckhart Tolle says. He's like, you know, people say, oh, how do you get started? Like, how do you find the power of being one? And he just goes, take one conscious breath. Just to have that self-awareness and go,
For sure.
and that just means, all right, I'm in a room, I'm on a podcast, I'm with Tommy, I'm with Bill, it's all good.
It's okay.
I'm not in my head.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Get out of the head.
Exactly.
Get out of that thought pattern of like, is everything all right? Have I got the, you know, it's
Yeah.
like, be present.
Exactly, just be present. I'm in a
yeah.
room, life is pretty good.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as time we could go into if you always are in the now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
something that's definitely like back onto from the start of that conversation. I definitely think it's something that is going to be looked at with a whole set of different eyes in a couple of years, man.
100%.
Like everyone's
Yeah.
going to be, a lot of people are going to be praising their success on it. And that's something I want to do. Like I eventually want to, my girlfriend and I would like to open a wellness center at some point and bring it to the public or like people in Australia, you know, like a lot of the podcasts I listen to and people I'm interested in, they do it all the time, you know, like, and that's the norm for them. And for you to say like, I would have just assumed that everyone in Melbourne like would be doing it, and for
Especially
you to say you're in a
like
place
this.
full of entrepreneurs and no one's doing it.
Forward-thinking
just
kind of like cool
what
young
are they doing?
place.
Like,
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think there's a business to be hatched there.
There's
just quietly.
many businesses to be hatched in the near future.
Should we do 6 from 6? Because we took the show down last time.
No, that's right. We should, and it would have been different
let's be
anyway.
short firing. Yes, true.
So, Siera, unfortunately, it is Friday afternoon, and at one point we all do need to drink
piss.
beer. So we're gonna do, mate. We could chat every fucking.
Let's get you on the show all the time,
rest
man.
of this day.
Yeah, I'd love to. I feel like I'm just got started. Like,
Yeah. I know.
seriously,
Yeah.
like
We've been going.
100%,
We've been going.
100%.
What have we been going?
We've been going for an hour and 17 minutes.
Hour and
it's
17, yeah.
nothing.
Which is nothing in the scheme of things.
But,
especially when you're thinking about oneness.
So we're going to do 6 from 6, Tommy. Used to be 9 from 9 when Mac was with us, but the questions have changed, and
Yes.
no one's heard the show anyway. So my first question to you, my friend, is your favourite travel destination on the planet and why?
Yeah, let me just get in touch with myself a little bit more intimately.
Let me just touch myself.
Yeah. That's really hard. It's a toss-up between New Zealand, because I used to live on and off in New Zealand when I was younger. It's somewhere I really want to go back to. It's just beautiful, and it's just untouched, and it's fantastic. And there's another place where I skydive a lot called DeLand, which is in Florida, and that's just got a piece of my heart. The people that are there, the jumps that you do, the scenery, everything about it is super, super amazing.
Beautiful. My next question is dream travel destination, somewhere you haven't been that's very top of your bucket list.
100% Antarctica.
Ooh,
I want to go there more
a good
than
one.
anywhere else in the world. I've actually been looking at trying to work there for 6 months.
Boner
Really?
penguin.
I've got to go. There's so much going on down there we don't know about.
Yeah, there would be tons.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So
Probably like a
I
interesting.
think you can
station.
see that the Earth's flat from Antarctica. Huh? I think you can see that the Earth's flat from Antarctica.
What?
Man,
true that, though,
there's
yeah.
so much down there. Like, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
So my final question is: any books that you, or audiobooks or whatever, that you like to recommend to people? Can be any style, any genre.
Favorite all-time book is Into the Wild. You've probably seen the movie.
I've got the book on my shelf, but I haven't read it.
Oh, that book changed my life
I'm gonna have to read it.
100%. It's so top-notch. I just listened to The Art of Learning. You guys
nice one.
read or listened to that?
No.
It's about Josh Wentz. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. That was my memory technique there. I went
Nice
back
one.
to visualize the cover of the book with his name.
Nice.
He was a chess protege.
Josh Waitzkin.
Josh Wetzkin, that's it. Wetzkin.
Yep.
He was a chess protege and then became a
Clearly the learning stuff is working,
yeah.
mate.
he became a push hands like Tai Chi guy as well,
Yeah.
and it's all about his approach to learning and
Wow.
how he learns things, and it was as part of the program for this advanced reading speed reading course that I'm doing.
Yeah.
It was part of the extra homework for that, and I listened to that start to finish in one day and was
Really?
so onto it. And the
Sick.
next one was Tribe by
Seth Godin.
Seth. Yeah, that was kind of cool. I like the start of that, or the discussion about like all the content about the Native Americans and stuff.
I haven't actually read it.
Yeah,
It's
it
on
was
my
cool. The
list
start of
as
it.
well.
Found that pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
It got pretty boring and just kind of, I felt like it was trying to justify America's war with the world halfway
Yeah.
through it. But
Gotcha.
the first half of it, I thought was cool.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Beautiful.
Tommy, what do you like to do when you have some downtime?
Oh, man. I read that question earlier and
Yeah.
I absolutely pissed myself laughing. It's like... Downtime? Like, I
Exactly.
haven't had that in years. Like, maybe pick my nose if I get 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Seriously, like...
Yeah.
I'm from 10 to 5 in the morning till 9:30 at night. I am booked and
Yeah.
I'm on. It's
Good. You want to be on.
Yeah, it's. Yeah.
What do you like most about being on? Like, what keeps you on?
Just being inquisitive, like wanting to learn new things, like wanting to be better at things that I like, I'm shooting a lot of archery now and it's like, I'm all
Sick.
about doing that. I'm always trying to work on surfing because I totally suck at that.
Yeah.
Skydiving, obviously, that's my main thing.
Yeah.
Learning to read, learning new things, cooking, spending time with my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Trying to build my life, like I'm so all about constructing my life at the moment and like the framework behind each day to get me to where I need to be at the end of that week to then advance me at the end of the month
Exactly.
to where I want to be at the end of the year and having goals and shit like that. I'm all about that at the moment. It's
Yeah.
Sick.
It's good.
Cool.
Learning to read is definitely an important one, mate. So keep sticking with that one, mate. You'll be
I've
good.
been trying for 32 years now. I'm sure it'll happen at one point.
What about a role model? Someone you look up to?
My friends are my inspiration in life.
Yep.
You know, like I was pretty lost for a few years there. And then I started hanging out with a group of people that are just like killing life, like shredding. And I totally changed my life from the second I started hanging out with them 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And discovered what life was about. And anyone like Bill, you know, you guys, anyone that's broken the typical mold of society of get married, have kids, have 2 dogs, get into debt. Anyone that has stepped a foot outside of that,
get depression.
I draw inspiration from, you know, people that want to be happy and people that want to help other people, you know, like
totally
just people that want to better themselves. Like I can draw inspiration from anyone, like even if it's the smallest thing. Like I think about that a lot actually. So,
and finally, mate, if you can invite 3 people, dead or alive, to dinner, who would they be and why?
I didn't think about this one.
It always gets people.
Graham Hancock, for sure. Like,
100%.
just could listen to that guy speak like for the rest of my life. Like he's so interesting.
Yeah.
Kelly Slater, maybe just because he's probably the world's best athlete and he's apparently a genius. Like apparently he's super duper smart.
Yeah.
Who's someone cool that's dead that we could chat to?
Yeah. While they're dead.
Yeah, for sure. Man, I'll just go smoke some DMT. I'll talk to them all the time.
Exactly, yeah.
Third one, I don't really know. Maybe JFK.
Oh, that's a good one.
I think I might have said Lincoln last time, but I think JFK. I'm more into JFK, that whole conspiracy theory.
I don't know if he knows who killed him, man.
He wouldn't even know.
No, shot the head. Some prick on the grassy knoll.
Yeah. Well, to quickly go into that, was it Lee Harvey Oswald?
Definitely not.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure
not.
It's a common thing that people don't say it was.
Yeah.
Like I thought the theory was that it was one of his protectors that accidentally shot off a gun.
Yeah, right.
I think.
I have heard that there's so many out there. Did you know that Lee Harvey Oswald was working for the CIA with L. Ron Hubbard as well?
Really?
I've heard all these.
Who started Scientology.
Exactly.
I've heard all these.
They were a part of like they were working on a program called MK. Is it MK Ultra, which is like a human programming program.
There's so much shit we don't know.
Oh, yeah.
See, this is going to be a segue to part 2
many
for Tommy Siera.
things. Yeah, there's heaps of
We'll do a conspiracy show.
I just want to clarify, I do love conspiracy theories, but a lot of it's my fantasy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't read Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter and shit like that.
Wait, what do you mean
I
they're
get
not
deep
real?
on conspiracies because some of them have truths behind them, and I just find it so fascinating to have these alternative theories to think,
totally.
What if the fucking Earth is flat? What if it's hollow, man? That would be mad. Like, that'd be fucking sick.
There's another quote.
Yeah.
You know, what if the Earth was flat? That would be mad. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be cool to think that.
It would be cool.
We could have a whole show on 9/11.
My biggest one's
do a whole show on 9/11.
9/11's my biggest one.
It's fucked.
My biggest
so
issue.
fucked.
That's the one I don't really care for the moon landing.
I think we landed on the moon.
JFK's.
No, wait, can I just go back to who the fuck I would love to have dinner with?
Yeah.
Buzz motherfucking Aldrin. That dude's cooked.
Yeah.
Like, he is.
Yeah.
But
He's
he's
cooked.
cooked. I think
He's
he's cooked for a reason, man. Like,
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, man, he is an interesting cat.
He was in Australia last year doing the Mars thing. There was a Mars presentation.
He got evacuated from Antarctica.
For what?
Because something went wrong. He got super ill.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's a part
Buzzing too hard.
There's a part of the massive, like, there's a big
Too much
conspiracy
buzz.
theory about things that are going on down there because, like...
Really?
I think the second...
You already knew it,
Shit.
Was it Mike Pence was down there, or was it, what's his name? Kerry from the States was down there.
Right.
Buzz Aldrin was down there. The Pope went down there. Prince Harry...
Pope went down there.
The Pope went down there. Prince Harry was down there.
Ooh,
and they were all there at the very similar time. And it's like, there's some fucking hectic theories out there. There's some epic theories out there, man. It's so funny.
I've got about it.
It's so fun to think about.
Oh yeah. Well, how's it? So how's the federal banking system in America, which I think officially began in like 1907 or something, 1912, where it was like basically the borrowing lending, where it's like you give the bank $1, they and then they give you like the federal banking system.
Yeah.
So like they give you $1, and then you have to pay back that $1 in interest. So like if you just look at it basically from that scope, you've lost an extra 25 cents.
Yeah.
You never had that $1 to begin with.
For sure.
And apparently the Titanic was a conspiracy theory to get rid of all of the leaders that were against the promotion of the federal banking system.
I've heard that. Yeah. I've heard that. Yeah.
And apparently, according to eyewitness accounts, not that there were many, that when the Titanic sunk, there was a boat just off in the far distance watching the Titanic sink. And it didn't help.
Shit,
it didn't help
I didn't
him out.
know that, but I had briefly heard that that's how, they were trying to get rid of a lot of people that were opposed to the Rothschild banking system.
Exactly, yeah.
What were they all doing on the Titanic?
That's
they
heavy.
just gave them a
one-way ticket on it. They put all the people that were opposed to their banking system on
all
the boat.
Important people, they were like, oh yeah, here's your free trip, because they were all probably
Rothschild.
pretty high up in society.
Yeah, definitely.
Because that feeds into the whole Illuminati thing where like the richest people in the world.
Straight Illuminati.
Yeah, we're going to go into it. We'll do it, and we will do it. We'll do the show.
At some point,
But like all the richest people in the world get together and congregate. And I mean, the richest people, if you own the banking systems, you own this is the closed curtain behind the government.
For sure.
You know, and like they talk about it. I mean, like, I think Obama was even quoted to have said something where, like, he understands he's not the most powerful person in the world. It's the people that own the money.
Man,
you know?
Obama had good intentions when he went, like, we thought he was going to be the guy, you know? And he didn't do fucking anything.
Exactly,
He created more war than anyone else, you know? It's to not get into that subject too deep, but it's like...
We will.
Yeah, we will at some point for sure, but it's
we got to do a show, like, just a little bit baked. Just like after a few...
No. We're definitely doing a show on mushrooms.
I'm keeping a show on mushrooms.
100%, man.
Yeah. We take some funny shit.
Talk through it, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, should we leave it there?
All right, Siera, where can people find you if they want? Is there anything that you want to plug? Yourself or anything wise? Or?
No, not really, man. I mean, I'm pretty chill.
So I
don't have anything to promote. I'm not really anyone special. I just like to chat. So,
I like it.
That's cool.
I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram as Tommy Siera. If anyone wants to ask me any questions about anything that they've heard us speak about, contact me, man. I love chatting to people.
Sweet.
So
sounds good,
awesome.
brother.
Alrighty, mate. Until next time.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Loved it.
Thanks for coming on the show, mate.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
And that's a wrap.
All right, guys, if you liked that show, please go ahead and subscribe. If you've already subscribed, thank you very much. If you could please go and leave a rating and review. If you make a real funny rating and review, we will read it out on the show. And also show notes. They can be found at www.adventuretravel.com/radio. Everything that was mentioned in the show will be in there. Also, head to audibletrial.com/ADVF radio to get your free audiobook and 30-day trial. Head to quashcreative.com. Quote the word radio with the guys there to get your free SEO report or report on your existing brand. And last but not least, head to www.adventurefittravel.com. Use the code word radio at checkout to get 10% off any and all of our epic trips. Catch you next week.
Discovery Roger, go for deploy.